spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scary-ish podcast.
Woo!
Jesus. I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to read you guys some homegrown horrors.
Indeed we are. Very, very excited to be here back at our normal time, Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you hear any noisiness, it's because there's construction going on literally outside our window. We think they've stopped for the day. Not quite sure, but we're going to go ahead and move forward because it's been pretty calm for a little bit here. But thank you all for joining us, whether you're listening in podcast form or whether or not you're watching us live right now. We appreciate every single one of you. And if you've never attended a live show, we suggest you do so. Go to twitch.tv/scaryish podcast or youtube.com/scaryish and watch us read your homegrown horrors, which are stories that you send in. In fact, Robin puts it best. Robin, what is a homegrown horror?
Homegrown horrors are the supernatural, paranormal, coincidental, spiritual. Did I already say that?
No, you're doing good.
Sleep paralysis, sleepwalking.
Spooky.
And stuff like that. So those stories that you graciously share with us, we get to read with the rest of our spooky family, which is kind of cool.
I indeed agree, which is a weird thing to say. But if you want to send a story that is either yours, a friend's, or just one you know, feel free to reach out to us at storytime@scaryish.com. Shout out to Chicka Chicka Boom Boom 18, who just resubscribed for the second month. Appreciate you so much. And you can also reach us at our social medias, which is at Scary-ish Podcast for Instagram, at Scary-ish Pod for Twitter. And you can go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/scaryish. And you can also do what most of you have been doing recently, which is scaryish.com, which is our website. We own it. Click on contact us, fill that form out, sends directly to us. We've been getting quite a few stories that way, and we appreciate it. But however you want to reach out to us, please feel free to do so. We appreciate all the stories we get, and we're going to try and get to every single one of them.
Yeah.
So we have 6 tonight. I will let you folks know that I think 4 of them are rather short. No big deal. They all have to get read at some point, so it might be kind of a short show. We will still do that special thing that we do at the end of our live shows, which if you never attended a live show, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have attended a live show and you're here right now, you're like, oh, cool, we're still doing that thing, which we are. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I don't care. You can...
This is the sort of decisiveness that I'm used to.
Do what your heart desires.
I'll go first, I guess. This one's subject is Haunted Elevator, which just reminds me of that movie Devil, which was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
All right.
It starts out like this. Hello, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. You may share this on the pod. Sometimes, oh wait, I forgot. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who has an email that was sent in, a homegrown horror, on this show. Because I got home, my mom came to me and she said, hey, 1, they're really good tonight. And 2, they were written incredibly well. I barely had to change a thing. So thank you to the 6 wordsmiths that sent your homegrown horrors. My mom sincerely appreciated it enough to even bring it up to me as soon as I walked through the door. Now I'm going to get into the email. So if you hear us trip up, it's because we're stupid and not because it was written poorly. So sometimes I work in LA in a big corporate building. You need to scan your badge to get in the building, then scan your badge at the elevator to choose your floor. Even if I scan my badge at the elevator, it only allows me to push the button for the floors I have clearance for. You cannot just choose any floor. That sounds pretty intense, lockdown style.
Yeah, it's like Homeland Security
type
stuff.
So one day, I used the elevator to go up to my floor. I was with 2 coworkers when the elevator stops at a floor on the way up. I don't remember what floor it was, but we assumed someone was calling the elevator to get in. Once the doors slid open, we were surprised to find that this floor was not finished.
Oh my God.
Don't step out. I've seen that video where there's someone looking away from the elevator. Yeah, don't step out.
Yeah, don't get out of the elevator.
In other words, nobody was there waiting to get in the elevator, and the walls were not finished. The lights on that floor were exposed and flickering in all caps.
Nope.
This floor was still under construction, and we can see nobody was there and no work was being done. Somehow the elevator was called. I had a thought to get out and investigate because I felt a, quote, call, like something was drawing me onto that floor. But I can act on my thoughts. But before I could act on my thoughts, the elevator door closed and we were on our way to our floor.
Nope.
It has happened to other coworkers of mine too, an abandoned floor, somehow calling the elevator. If it happens to me again, I will Facebook Live it for you guys and we can all say the Bane quote together while I explore. Haha. Rob, I don't say this very often, but please don't do that because I have a feeling you'll die. That's super creepy.
That is really creepy. Like,
you merely adopted the darkness. Whatever's in there was born in it. Just saying.
Molded by it.
That is creepy as hell, man.
Abandoned. Not even abandoned. I'm sorry. unfinished floors that have no one on
It's
them.
a derelict floor that's just there to collect souls. I would just avoid it entirely.
Yeah.
Like
Nope.
my office building has 4 floors, and elevators do weird things sometimes. We have 3 elevators. Usually one of them is not working because it's gotten stuck or the door is open while it was like going up and everyone could see like the exposed floors going by. So some
What?
crazy stuff happens in our elevators too, but it doesn't take us to a floor that doesn't exist. That is super, super creepy. So be very, very careful. Just saying. That was a really good story to start out with. So.
My work building is 1 floor, so it's great.
It's nice to work on a 1-floor building, but you have to walk a whole lot further. So my building, I guess I still have to walk. I have to take stairs sometimes too when the elevators break down. So good stuff.
Yeah,
that was super creepy.
Yeah,
good tone
super
to start
creepy.
for the show. So
I just want to let everyone know how hot it is in
it
Vegas
is hot
right now.
as balls out
So
here
it was
right now.
110 degrees today, and oh my goodness, walking from an establishment like a restaurant outside into the oven that is the city, it was just, oh my gosh.
And as you can see, if you're watching right now, we have a window directly behind us that the sun beats down on from about like 10 a.m. until it sets. And there's also a window right there because this is a corner of the house. So this room is just blistering hot, man. So, yeah, for those Vegas peeps that listen, like, we know you're in this with us, so you can appreciate
it's
it.
hot.
For anyone who complains about the winters, like, this is the day where you realize, like, yeah, the winters aren't that bad.
You know it's hot for me when I have to put my hair up a lot, because now it's going to turn into all the episodes this summer where I have my hair up every single day. Like last year, I chopped all my hair off. You know what I mean? So I had no hair. Now that my hair is long, you guys are going to see it up every single time. And normally I have like it curled or it's usually down, you know? So now it's too hot.
I have a friend that
I
makes
can't.
stuff in his like barbecue pit or whatever, and he has like one of those thermometers that you stick into whatever meat that you're cooking so you can see the temperature. I wish I had something like that for my back that measures moisture, so we could just have like a meter on the side that's like Adam's back sweat level. Because right now it's like a 6 out of 10 because it's so fucking hot in here.
Gross. Okay, so this next email is from Blanca Bello, and the subject is, you can share it on the podcast.
Good
and
subject.
in quote, Fire Eyes. So I'm assuming the actual title of the story itself is Fire Eyes. It goes, "Hi, Adam and Robin. Hello.
Hello.
I love your podcast. I have many stories. I'll send more when I have time. Thank you guys for doing what you do. I know it must be hard sometimes, but thank you. It is hard sometimes. This past episode that we released slightly late was very difficult. So we're glad that got put out. But
It's just one of those things where we try and have this be as consistent as humanly
Yeah.
possible in a life that is not consistent. And I think everyone has those things that pop up in your life where you're like, things have to get put off, and we've been very good about not letting it affect Scary-ish. And it's going to happen, sooner or later. And I'm pretty happy that like the one time it's happened in 150 episodes, it was like 11 hours late. It
Yeah.
usually releases at 4 a.m., at least according to what it's supposed to do, 4 a.m. on Tuesdays. And it came out at 3 p.m. on Tuesday still. So we still hit our day. But yeah, it does get kind of difficult sometimes. Not like interacting with our listeners. You guys are amazing. It's just life is very difficult sometimes.
Continuing on. Okay. When I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, all I remember was that my dad used to drink a lot and get high. He would come home late, like around 1 or 2 a.m., to mistreat my mom. What a douchebag. One night, I woke up because I heard a man knocking on the door. I heard them tell my mom that my dad was really drunk and he was not listening to them to go home and sleep. I heard that he got into a fight and got hurt, so I got out of bed and went outside with my mom. We saw him walking up to the house. There was a big tree in front of our house, and I saw him walking towards the tree and laying down under it. When my mom saw that he laid down, she told me, "You go. I don't think he would hurt you." So she stood by the door.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, I know I went alone towards my dad because I kept turning around to see my mom. I was scared because I know how he gets when he's drunk. When I get to him, I said, "Dad, let's go inside." When he opened his eyes, I saw flames in his eyes. I got so scared, I jumped back, and I heard a lady tell me to get away. That's the devil. But there was no one there with me. I ran back to my mom crying, told her I was scared, but never told anyone about it until now. That's crazy.
That's very crazy. Not you're
So,
crazy. That's
no.
very scary.
Yeah, that's super scary. Like, so you walk up to your dad, he opens his eyes, and it's like it's
Fire.
not your dad.
Right.
Yeah. And you hear a voice of someone that's obviously not around you tell you to get away. So it's just...
It's one of those things where it's like sometimes people make references to like their demons or their inner demons.
Yeah.
as like an abstract thing where they're saying that they're like battling with alcoholism or battling with some form of addiction. But it's one of those things I think about sometimes where it's like, maybe that's an actual manifestation of like a literal demon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't, I'm the skeptic usually, and I don't want to get too far out there, but I've known a lot of addicts and a lot of people that have had issues, like severe issues in their life. And I'm not saying like you should go and have an exorcism on them, but it's like, if you have a good soul, and you know a lot of people that have a good soul that fall down a really dark path, it's almost like something kind of drew them there. You know what I mean? Not like sinister, like puppeteer things, but something that's always just given them a nudge to go in the wrong direction. And like that's kind of what I think when I hear your story. And it's one of those things where I really think it's incredibly important to understand people that battle stuff like that, whether or not we're talking literally about demons or figuratively, because they need a lot of support. They really do. And I think a lot of times people don't want to go out of their way in any way, shape, or form if it makes them uncomfortable. And a really good example I can give you is there's a guy at work, and I never asked him for his story because I don't need to know. And this is one of my older jobs, but he stopped drinking. He just randomly stopped drinking. And I asked him, because I don't really drink. And I asked him when the last time it was he had been out and like went partying, because I knew that he was a partier. And he knew the day to the day. And it was like 11 months prior. He wound up winning an award for his team doing so well. And when they give you the award, they would give you a glass of champagne too. And so he didn't drink it, and someone mentioned it in front of like the entire department when it should be like this celebratory moment, like, why aren't you drinking that, bro? And he told everyone right there in front of everyone, like, I don't drink anymore, which is not an easy thing to say, but he said it. He won the award again the next month, and they still gave him the glass of champagne. And I'm like, if he's an alcoholic and he is struggling with his alcoholism, and you have handed him a glass of champagne 2 months in a row, you are horrible people. Like, why is it so hard to just not give this dude the glass of champagne? And when I brought it up to my boss, like, if he wins again, don't give him the champagne. They're like, but that's what we always do. It's like, how shitty is that? You know what I mean? So, like, hearing your story is very, like, it hits home. It's very real. And I understand that I think a lot of people that are skeptical might hear Fire Eyes and not kind of take it as seriously. But, like, that shit's real, man. Like, it's straight up real. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank
Sincerely,
you so much.
We very much appreciate it. All right. So I'm going to move on into our third homegrown horror of the evening. And it starts out like this. I'm still on Haunted Elevator. So let me go ahead and click X there. It starts out like this. Aloha.
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 I don't know, that sounds weird coming out of my mouth.
I wanted to share a short story about a creepy experience I had in my bathroom. LOL. Also, I'm
Sounds
from Dallas,
hot.
Texas, and I listen on Spotify. Shout out Spotify. Feel free to share on the podcast if you want. So it all started one evening when I was in my bathroom getting the bath ready for my 2-year-old brother.
Aww.
I had felt an uneasy feeling in my stomach, and for some reason, it felt like something was watching me. I felt as if someone/something was sitting on the countertop in the corner of the bathroom behind me. I decided it was best if I walked out and took a deep breath.
When I imagine something or someone, whatever, sitting on the countertop, I'm thinking like a little kid. Like a little kid swinging their legs on the countertop or something. I
picture the same thing that I've seen since like 3rd grade when I feel like something's watching me.
What's that?
It's just some fucking dude who's like a hillbilly with like dirty brown hair and stubble and a dirty brown mustache and a white and red plaid shirt and blue jeans and shit kicker boots. I swear to Christ, I was doing homework in 3rd grade by myself downstairs. I thought I heard something by the door, by the basement door, which was to my left.
Nope.
I looked there. There was nothing.
No.
I kept working. I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye in the yard because we had a glass sliding door and the shades were pulled back, and I thought I saw something. And when I looked up really quick, I looked up and I looked down. And when I looked up, I looked into the yard. And as I started to look down, I realized there was a fucking dude squatting down, staring at me, smiling in a really creepy way. And I looked away, and it freaked me the fuck out. And as soon as I looked back up, it was gone. And I was just like, you didn't see that. And I told myself I didn't see that. But every time I've ever felt like something was staring at me, that is what I picture every single time. I pictured it as soon as this email started.
Hillbilly dude.
And the worst part is that I described this to someone in 7th grade, and I started my description, and they finished my description, and they told me they'd seen the same person before. Dead serious. It was the creepiest moment of my life. I've talked about it on the show before. I love that you're an Etch-a-Sketch and you've forgotten about it, because you always just have this look of fascination when I tell you something new, which is just for the 3rd time. All right, I'm going to get back to your story now. I apologize for that. So they feel like something is on the corner of the bathroom counter behind them. They decided it was best. They walked out, took a deep breath. I think you're being very mature here. It continues. However, when I got to the door, in parentheses, right next to where I felt the thing/spirit was sitting, It was almost as if I couldn't move and felt like I was walking through something. My vision went black for a short moment and I couldn't breathe. This lasted about 2 to 3 seconds. I turned around and just started saying Jesus' name. This may seem silly to some people, but I am very religious and have had multiple situations before that scared me, and simply saying Jesus' name gave me comfort. One of my best friends emailed us a story that he had never told me before, and it was about sleep paralysis and seeing a sleep paralysis demon, and he started saying the prayer in his head. And I'm pretty sure at the time this happened, he was an atheist, because he had an atheist period that he eventually just like sort of faded back out into religion. And like, I'm pretty sure he wound up like turning back to it because of that moment. So I don't think it's stupid.
No, yeah. I mean, my sister too, when she gets scared, she repeats in Vietnamese instead of English. So it happens.
No,
People
I think
have those.
there's like that joke. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Major League, but there's the guy who's a voodoo guy.
Yeah.
And they're on a plane and like there's lightning and the like plane's having a bunch of turbulence and he like does the sign of the cross on himself. And the guy who's like super religious Christian sees him. He's like, oh, now you come around. He's not fooled. And he like points to the sky. Okay, let's keep going. I went out of the bathroom and looked down the hall to see my mom looking at me like I was an alien. I told her what had happened and I'm not sure she believed me or not. Anyways, by the time I went back into the bathroom about 5 minutes later, I felt a lot better and didn't feel as scared. I hope you like my story, and I love you guys so much and enjoy listening to your podcast. It's my favorite. Winky face. Thank you so much. Don't feel obligated to share on the podcast if you don't want to. I totally understand how many stories you guys get. We will try and share every single one of them. If your story hasn't been shared in the past, by the way, it's because it came in garbled because of some transmission error or whatever.
Yeah.
And we try and get back to most of you folks, and we're going to try and get all of those worked out. I think I have like 3 or 4 right now sitting in queue that we had issues on that we're trying to get back to people. Sorry if it was hard to read or if it had a bunch of grammatical errors. Hey, you were part of the episode. After 70 episodes, 71 Storytime episodes that my mom specifically called out as the best written emails that we've ever gotten. So pat yourself on the back. I'm typing this on my phone while in the car on a bumpy road. LOL. Love you guys and keep on creeping on. Tanner. Sorry for clearing
I was going to say.
They put their last name on there and said how it's pronounced. And I was like, we don't need to include your last name. I don't want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Lots of times Robin tells me not to read the last names.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much. That was that. It's a good story.
It's a very good story. It triggered a lot of memories for me.
So I got to hear the story of Adams again, which is great.
I've told her that at least 3 times, no joke. I call her my little Etch-a-Sketch because I'll tell her something, and if I wait long enough, she doesn't remember it at all, and I can tell it to her again, and she's just so excited to hear it. So,
all right. So on to my second story of the evening. This one is titled "Yo Dogs." Sup, dog?
Yo, dog.
Heidi ho, Adam and Robin.
Wow, hi diddly ho.
Oh, God. Okay. I first wanted to tell you guys that you're both amazing humans and I absolutely love your podcast. I have 3 stories for you. One kind of creepy, one just plain weird, and one funny one. I like the variety. It's nice. The creepy one is first. In July of 2017, my family and I went to San Diego. We visited...
San Diego just gives me chills. I'm kind of joking and kind of not because a friend of the show, Ralph, has told us some like super scary stories about San Diego.
While we were in San Diego?
Yeah.
No.
It was while we were at E3.
We were at E3, yeah.
He told us some haunted San Diego stories that we're going to have to continue covering more of. Sorry.
All right. So we visited SeaWorld, Comic-Con, or the outside of it anyway, and Old Town San Diego. Needless to say, the trip was a lot of fun, but there's something that always stuck with me when we visited Old Town. While my parents went to go look at shops, my older brother and his girlfriend, she's basically family now, wanted to go on the tour of the Whaley House.
I knew the Whaley House was going to come up.
God.
It's been on the tip of my tongue.
The tip of your tongue. I was invited to join my bro and his girlfriend, and so I did. We heard the place was super haunted, and we were wanting to see ghosts. We walked through the whole house, and nothing happened until we got to the courtroom. Just a little bit of background about the layout. After you walk into the house, on your left, you will walk into the convenience store and the courtroom, which are connected to the house. One more detail about the house is that there is nothing above the courtroom besides the roof. Anyway, we walk into the courtroom, and I was a little disappointed not to see anything spooky happen. So me, being an idiot, decides to call out a ghost. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know I get it. Like sometimes you're bored and sometimes you want to see something supernatural, but sometimes you should just leave well enough alone, man.
Yeah. I proceeded to say, I call upon the ghost of Thomas Whaley You probably didn't say it like that. I'm just kind of obnoxious. At first, nothing happened until I looked at the metal chandelier, and I shit you not, it was slightly rocking back and forth. I asked my bro if he's seeing the chandelier move, and he saw it too. I thought, though, that it was the people upstairs in the room above us that was making that happen.
There is a sign in the Whaley house that says, if this chandelier is rocking, don't come a knocking.
Oh my God.
Not really. Just kidding.
So I didn't put much thought into it after that. We then walked out of the courtroom into the convenience store, and one of the employees was talking to these two girls about how in the room with us was a ghost dog and a ghost cat. The two girls were able to bend down and pet them, and they said it was weird. I didn't buy it for 1 second until my brother turned to his girlfriend and myself and said, "Guys, my feet are cold."
That's creepy.
What? That means like the cat and dog are like walking past you
Or there's like an
something?
air vent
Or-
blowing cold air on your feet to make you think
Well, or this ghost cat's just like snuggling up to the peeps. Because Arya does that to me all the time.
that she's not a ghost cat. She's a living cat, knock on wood.
She's a living cat,
She was
but-
living when we came in here. Fingers crossed. She
fuck?
still is.
Okay, there's no way he could be cold because it was 85 degrees in the house, and he does not get cold easily. We asked him how cold his feet are, and he said, "It feels like I just walked into a Costco freezer." That's hilarious. If you guys...
Just hearing those words, my nipples are hard.
Because it's just so cold. We heard that and left the house after that. We got a good look at the outside of the house from across the street and noticed there was no room above the courthouse and got even more freaked out. We told my parents what happened, and needless to say, they're not going into the Whaley house anytime soon. That's freaking hilarious. I don't want to go there.
I do want to go there because I've covered it. You know, most of the things that I've covered, I do want to go to. Some of the things I cover, I'm like, nah, dog, I'm good.
Next is the weird one. The weird story. I used to date this guy who was interesting, to say the least. At first, he seemed okay, but after dating him and being his girlfriend of 8 months, I found out he was not the best guy for me and he was controlling. It's hard when you spend so much time with someone and then you realize, like, this isn't good for me, and then it's like, I've wasted this entire year. What the fuck? You know?
You gonna name names?
No.
Should I leave the room so you can talk bad about me?
Yeah, dang it. 6 years. I'm so
6
over it.
years down the goddamn drain.
Jesus, I can't believe it's been that long.
I know.
Okay, so...
We posted a picture on our Instagram story, so it's not on our Instagram feed. For any of you who were, like, you know, quick enough to see it.
Yeah, I posted a picture of baby us.
Yeah, baby us, hashtag skinny us.
One thing he claimed he can do is astral project, and he wanted to try it with me. So I did the steps he told me to do in order for him to, quote-unquote, visit me. And
It's like, I'm here with you right now, man.
yeah, right. He asked me in what position I sleep in, and I told him I slept on my back with my left hand above my head. Why? He then proceeded to tell me he slept the same way, but he was on his stomach and with the right hand above him. I don't know if it was a joke or if this really happened, but honestly weirds me out to this day. And last but not least, the funny one.
I feel like that boyfriend was a little bit full of shit. Probably just trying to mess with you. Because if they told you how they slept before you told them,
yes,
that's one thing.
Exactly.
But if they told you that after and they were a manipulative person,
then they're just making shit up.
Fucking with you.
Yeah.
Like
he should have said what he was sleeping in first.
Yeah.
I hate liars. I hate people that feel like they need to
spice up their life by being full of shit.
Compulsive liars are just so strange.
It is okay to not have a story when someone else tells a story. You don't have to make shit up. We were friends with someone, and I guess kind of still are. It's not very close. But
I
like
hope they're not listening.
That was just constantly having to say stuff because they felt like they needed to always have a story. And it's like one day in your life has to go by where there's not some like substantial event where something amazing happened. You know what I mean? And I think that people feel like this social pressure where they need to always have something interesting. And it's like my best friends, the closest friends I have, you know what makes them my closest friends? We can sit down, watch TV, and not say a word for hours and just enjoy each other's company. And you don't feel that pressure where you have to make shit up or talk about something or be on for that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how hanging out with Gabriella was. Like I would go over to her house and we would just sit there and we would just watch TV or make stupid music videos. I don't know. We did a lot of funny, ridiculous things, but we didn't have to do anything super crazy.
And those same friends are the people who you could have like a road trip with for like 4 hours and never turn the radio on because conversation just comes so naturally that you just talk the entire time. You don't feel the need to make shit up. You can just talk about stuff. And I feel like people that are not authentic, that have to like make shit up like this astral projection guy, never get to experience that because they're too busy lying out their ass. And I'm talking about this road trip because me and Garrett went on a road trip one time. We never turned the radio on.
Shout out to Garrett.
All the way down, all the way back. He did have to
Cute.
stop at a Wendy's on the way back so I could throw up because I was super drunk. So shout out to Garrett. Anyways,
Okay.
let's get back to that email.
Anyway, last but not least, the funny one. One night, I woke up to the sound of an alarm beeping and thuds coming from my living room. In my sleepy state, I proceeded to grab my phone and look at the time. You guessed it, it was 3 in the fucking morning. I heard my dad go
Good
down...
dramatic read, Robin.
Thanks. I heard my dad go downstairs and freaked out. He came back upstairs and went back to his and my mom's room. I could not sleep for the rest of the hour, so I prayed to God for an hour straight and put on some Sunday sermons on YouTube. At 4 a.m., I managed to go back to sleep knowing that my guardian angels have my back. I asked my dad in the morning if he heard what I heard last night. Turns out my dad triggered it and went to turn it off so it would not wake up my mom and myself. He turned it back on when he went to bed. That was the beeping I heard, and him walking up the stairs were the thuds. So my house is not haunted, but I know I have my dad, my guardian angels, always protecting me. Thank you, spooky friends, for taking the time to read this email, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Keep on creeping on, little Java Bean.
Thank you for sending that in,
Thank
Little
you.
Java Bean. That's really good. I really like your last
those are all
story
really
especially
good
too.
stories.
So that's awesome. I think a lot of times most of our ghosts are really just our family members or our friends that are doing something silly and stupid at a really random time for some reason that you just cannot figure out. And then they tell you later like, oh no, like I was on the roof at 4 a.m. chasing a bird. And you're like, you're an idiot. Stop doing that. So I just go back to that story where the lights were flickering. And it was like the two brothers sleeping in opposite rooms that were like trying to turn the light off. And it was turning off on their own. There was just like crossed wires. It's a really good story. Okay. I'm going to move on to my last email, my last homegrown horror of the show. And it starts out like this. Well, hello there, Adam and Robin.
Well, hello there.
Hello there. It's Erica writing you with the spooky stories I promised from my job in my last email.
Oh, shit.
You can absolutely use these on the pod. I look forward to hearing your reactions and comments. Big smiley face. I'll start off by saying I work overnight shifts cleaning in a hospital. Dear God, I'm already scared. I love my job, even if it can be gross on occasion. LOL. Anyway, since it is a late night shift, most areas I clean are closed and I am alone. Creepy already, right?
That's, alone overnight in a hospital.
Yeah.
It's just all of the nope things.
Surrounded by ghosts.
Yeah, all of the nope things.
I'm sure me listening to your podcast sometimes intensifies the creep factor, but I love you guys so much. It doesn't really bother me. That's very sweet. I'll try and section these as there are multiple stories, some from me and some I've heard from my coworkers. Sounds good. Story number 1. My first paranormal experience at work happened maybe 3 or 4 months after I started.
All right.
I was cleaning away, jamming to some sweet, sweet tunes. I really was hoping you'd tell us which tunes. When I thought I heard a shriek of some sort from the hallway just outside the lab I was in. I will say that I always only have one earbud in so that I can hear any alerts that come over the speaker system.
All right.
And I also don't want some other employee cutting through the area to scare the shit out of me. It's very smart. Anyway, I paused my music and listened. I didn't hear anything, so I assumed I imagined it. Just as I was about to turn my music back on, I heard it again. Not super loud, but it sounded like a woman letting out a shriek. I poked my head.
Creepy.
It is creepy. I was thinking like, or me, because I shriek very loudly when I'm scared sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah. You haven't seen it yet. It's a good thing.
Okay.
Maintain my cool for a while. Like, I put cool in quotes. I poked my head in the hall and saw no one. I know this wasn't anyone walking by in an exterior hallway because the lab has noisy machines going all the time, so no way I would have heard it from where I was. I was about to get back to work, just thinking my sleep-deprived brain was playing tricks, when I got this overwhelming feeling of dread. It felt like someone or something was standing right next to me, just glaring at me. All the hair on my arms and neck stood up. I was so freaked out. I wanted to say fuck it and bolt. Somehow I managed to gather enough courage to finish cleaning as quickly as possible and get out of there. I didn't mention it to my coworkers because I didn't want them to tease me. It sucks that your coworkers are so not supportive that you couldn't tell them that you had a ghastly experience like that. But I kind of understand it, especially since you've only been there for 3 or 4 months in this email before it happened, that you might not know the comfort level of like, hey, I just had something really creepy happen to me. So, okay, moving on. Story number 2. This next story occurred in another area in which I was cleaning by myself and no one else was anywhere nearby. Of course it did.
It's like they wait.
They do. If you're a ghost, you just want to scare people when they're by themselves. If they're with someone, they don't get as scared. It's just the way it works. I had just come back from my lunch break and was about to begin cleaning the area when I thought I heard footsteps. I knew I should be alone, but just in case, I did a walkthrough of the small area and saw no one. I shrugged it off and began my work. A few minutes later, I heard footsteps again. As I was listening for the steps, I heard my name whispered from maybe a few feet behind me.
That.
My blood ran cold and I froze. I was too scared to turn around. As I was having an internal argument about whether to turn around or not, I heard my name whispered again, this time right in my ear.
No. Oh, no.
I whirled around and, of course, there was no one there. Cue the massive anxiety attack. I called my supervisor, freaking out, and told him what happened, hoping he wouldn't think I was nuts. He was very understanding and said very casually, "Oh, yeah, the hospital has spirits everywhere." Holy shit. Maybe mention that during orientation or something like that. That is super creepy.
Super scary, dude.
Story number 3. This story may sound familiar because when the event occurred, I was so freaked out I shared the abridged version to the Scarish Facebook group. I still wanted to include it and add the details. I was in the same area from story number 2. I was in the restroom, funny number 2, and as I was finishing up washing my hands, stop striking me, I heard the bathroom door shake like someone was trying to open it. I cannot stand when someone tries to get into the bathroom when you're in there. I could also see it moving in the mirror. Because, like, if you're in a public restroom or at work and someone's trying to get in, you're like, can I just use the bathroom in peace?
I thought you meant like me when I like to rattle the knob while you're in there.
Rattle the knob. And by that, she means just enter it and leave the door open when she's bored with my presence. I could also see it moving in the mirror since the door was behind me. I thought this was weird because no one should be around, but still called out, "Someone's in here." As I was drying my hands, I turned around and the whole door began shaking back and forth pretty roughly. It was then I noticed the handle was not jiggling. The whole door itself was shaking.
What the F?
Good thing I had already peed or I might have had an accident.
My God.
That's hilarious. About 10 to 15 seconds of sheer terror, the door finally stopped moving. I unlocked the door and slowly opened it, and there was no one there. I think my heart stopped for a few seconds. Once I could breathe again, I made myself walk the area again and still saw no one. The hallway outside the area was empty too. There was only one door anyone could have come in, and it's right by the bathroom. It's a big, heavy double door, so I would have heard someone come in. An hour or so later, I was on my way to another area and was passed in the hall by some nurses rolling a corpse to the morgue. Not unusual in a hospital, but given the experience I had right before, it seemed way too eerie to be coincidence. Now we're going to move on into coworker stories. These I won't go into great detail. I'll just list the experiences my coworkers have had in various areas of the hospital. My supervisor has had the most experiences. Everything from footsteps when no one is around, hearing his name called, and curtains billowing out on their own with no air conditioning or breeze to blame. His scariest one occurred when my second and third stories took place. He was shoved by an unseen force hard enough to make them take a few steps back. Other coworkers have experienced voices, bangs, and feeling like they're being watched in many areas of the hospital. I'll wrap it up by saying I don't think these experiences are anything demonic. It's a hospital. People die here. It would be silly to think there would never be spirits here.
Right.
I know this was a long one, but I hope you all enjoyed my stories. Sending much love your way. Keep on creeping on, Erica.
Erica, those stories are so cool. I'd be so scared to keep working there. If I were you and I had experienced those things, I would have been like, I can find another job. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, they are terrifying. They're really, really good stories. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Tell your coworkers and your boss to listen to us and send us their stories because I really want to hear your supervisor stories.
That bathroom story reminded me of a time when I used to work at Borders. Before they closed down. Okay. And
it's a ghost town in itself.
And I had a coworker named Eric, and he was my super gay friend. He was great. And one day I was in the bathroom, right? Our store was in a mall. So I went to the restroom and I was doing my business, whatever. And he comes in while I'm in there. This is late at night. I feel like it must have been because I was scared out of my mind. He came in there as I was pulling the door to the stall open to go wash my hands. And he does the like making a loud noise and slamming something. And I just lost my shit. I got so scared where I ran back up against the wall and pinned my arms against the sides, like not knowing what I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
You're such a scaredy cat.
And I was so scared. So scared.
She came home today and I was standing on like our balcony for our second floor and she came in, she was saying hi to my mom. I was like, is that you? Are you home? And I heard her like feet scatter a bit and then her gasp. And I'm like, did you really just get scared? We're on 2 separate floors. She's like, I know. That's why it's so scary. You're ridiculous.
My coworkers now have gone to pretty great lengths to try not to scare me while I'm sitting there. The other day, I think it was last week or the week before that, but my coworker came in and scared me and I freaked out, obviously. And they're just like, seriously? I literally like stomped and said your name before I came in.
She never notices. Ever.
It's just like I'm focused doing my thing. And so I don't pay attention to my environment. And so I always
Batman
get scared.
and Sherlock Holmes would be so disappointed.
They would be
I
very
tell her that
disappointed.
all the time. I'm like, you never pay attention to your environment.
Okay, so this final email of the night is titled, May the 4th be with you. 4th. May the 4th be with you. JK, it's April. Use on Storytime.
I was going to say, I didn't think
JK, it's June.
I didn't think we're on May stories yet.
All right. Dear Robin and Adam. Dear you.
Wow.
I have not heard you cover this subject before, but I wanted to share with you the imaginary friend that my daughter used to have, and, despite being 10, still affirms that comes around, albeit rarely these days. Wow, that's creepy. So they're 10 years old and still has this imaginary friend that shows up every once in a while.
It's pretty creepy.
All right. To be honest, I never experienced an imaginary friend, though, when I was growing up alone in the country. I desperately had wanted one.
Aw.
So, given that point of view, I tend to worry about my daughter whenever she mentions seeing her friend or seeing orbs, even though her father doesn't think it's an issue. Anyway, her imaginary friend that she has seen since she was very little, maybe 3, is named Black Bones.
Black Bones. What a name. Shout out to M Meadows 89 who just resubscribed for the 9th
Thank you so
month
much.
using their Twitch Prime. Robin, really quickly, jump in here and tell us about Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime. Twitch.amazon.com. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you have a Twitch account, they're free to make if you don't have one. You can connect the 2 accounts for free. And Amazon for free. And Amazon gives you a free subscription that you can use every 30 days to subscribe to whatever channel you want.
Like the Scary-ish podcast channel.
Yes, like
so
us.
Basically, give us $5 free from Amazon's pockets once a month.
It's like you saving $5 on your Amazon Prime subscription. Think about it. It's great.
And also giving us $5. We'd
Yeah.
appreciate it. Lots of folks have signed up and done it. Please do so. Let's get back to that story.
All right. So this imaginary friend is named Black Bones, and not in the fun pirate kind of way. But in the walking skeleton with sharp teeth, snakes for hair, red fire eyes, and completely blackened.
What the
kind of
fuck?
way.
That's terrifying.
When she was young, she'd tell me he was the only good member of his family, and the rest of his family, father, mother, and brother, had huge mouths they'd use for eating children. What?
A child's imagination, folks. It's the purest thing in the world.
Black Bones, however, was good, protected her, and was her friend, and the older she got, the less his family came around her vicinity.
Shout out to Black Bones. Good job.
The last time I was present when she saw him was when she was 8, and she said that he was in the alley behind our house, just ahead of us.
I mean, that's just a good place to hang out, right? Alleys behind people's houses are always the most wholesome places to do things.
She spoke briefly with him and then turned to me and said that Black Bones would be leaving for a while because he and his girlfriend were moving to China to get married. What?
Just message to Black Bones. You don't have to go to China to get married, bro.
Either this is real or this 8-year-old has the biggest imagination ever. But, she said, he'll be back again to see me.
But when?
What
That's the
the
question.
F?
This is like the first 10 minutes of a movie.
And then it continues, #fuck that. Honestly, I don't know what is normal for imaginary friends, and I'm open to input. My daughter is otherwise a very healthy, curious, and smart child, testing the highest in her class, and honestly seemed so unconcerned about her terrifying friend. Keep on creeping on. P.S. Has anyone else experienced a breathing phenomenon? I mean, where you can clearly hear breathing even when you're alone and holding your breath, or have I just been lucky throughout my life? Is there a name for this phenomenon? Regards, Muriel.
It's called ghosts or demons.
Yeah.
We've had people email in that say they hear breathing in their ears, but it's usually attached to some form of paranormal experience or something that's been like following them for a long period of time. Not saying that's the case with you. Maybe it's just one of those phantom sounds.
I know Adam breathes really loud, but he doesn't realize he's breathing loud, and I can hear
I'm
it.
breathing
But
really loud.
He doesn't hear it.
If I
hear
like
it.
have a moment where I like inhale deeply because I'm thinking internally about work, she's like, "You okay?"
No.
I'm like, "I'm fine."
No. He'll be editing sometimes, and he has his headphones on, and all I hear is, and I'm just like, "You okay there, buddy?"
It's also like 95 fucking degrees in this place, so yeah, it gets a little steamy in here, and I need to take some deep breaths. So that'll happen. In your case, I think it's more of like a phantom sound. Some people have like phantom like vibrations. Some people always think their phones are going off.
Yeah.
Have you ever met someone like that? So maybe that's it. Or demons. Like, I can't really tell you one way or the other definitively. So
the imaginary friend thing, I don't think her having an imaginary friend is unhealthy whatsoever. I know my niece has one, and she seems totally fine.
I feel like it's a product of a very creative mind.
Yes.
And the more creative the mind, the more elaborate the backstory.
Right. And I mean, my niece says that, well, she's come up with some games that we've played before where she's like, my entire family's dead, and I'm the only one that survived.
Right? You think you're going to play, like, a tea party with her, and then all of a sudden it's, like, post-apocalyptic wasteland?
Yeah, and you're just like, what?
And she was 4 at the time, so it's like, why do you think these
Yeah,
and all she ever watches is, like, wholesome stuff on Netflix. So.
And so it's just mind-blowing. It's weird.
Yeah. Kids say the darndest things,
They do.
Kids say the creepiest shit ever is what it should really be called.
Yep. Okay. So thank you, everyone who's joined us for this episode. You guys are absolutely awesome. Playing marbles with you all are so fun. We had a whole bunch of really great stories tonight, and they were all really well written. So says Spooky Mom. And
so saith Spooky Mom.
And we just want you guys to know how thankful we are that we get to do this every week, and hope that you'll join us again next week, Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
It's all Scarish related if you need to search. Otherwise, you can just actually find our tags.
Yeah.
Twitter's at ScarishPod. Instagram is at ScarishPodcast. And Facebook.com/ScarishPodcast is our Facebook.
Yep. If you go to our website, scarish.com, that's us. We own that. We have all our shop stuff on there. So if you want to get some Scarish goods, our stores are on there.
You like them Scarish goods, don't you?
Shut up. And my Etsy store is on there. I have a lot of geeky stuff. I have all our Scarish stickers that I make on there. So if you guys want to check that out. And we do have our Amazon affiliate link on there as well if you guys want to do that. I post what Robin likes every once in a while. I haven't posted one in quite a while, but those are all the things that I'm into at the moment. And if you guys want to check that out, it's like my little blog. It's kind of cool.
We've had multiple people message and ask if they can contribute to this new PC that I'm building. It's still crazy to me that people actually ask if they can send us stuff. Shout out to Ulri, who sent me a gift card on Amazon.
Yeah, you're amazing.
You are amazing. And because I just don't know how to handle that, I'm going to put like Ulri on my new PC setup in some way, shape, or form. We have a Cricut so we can cut out vinyl, and I'm going to have like a dedication for each person.
Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So if you folks donate to building a new PC.
Here's how I'm going to set this up. So I'm uncomfortable with asking people to fund 100% of my PC. I'm going to pick out certain components that I'm comfortable with people contributing to, probably like a video card or a processor or a fan or something like that, and post them on our website, most likely under an Amazon wish list, so you folks can see what it costs, or Newegg, or whatever I can find that's cheapest. And then whoever donates will definitely get a dedication on my tower in some way, shape, or form. And I'm going to pay for most of it myself as far as I can. But for those of you who actually want to contribute, I'm going to pick some stuff where it's like, if I have a video card that I want to get and I get contributions to the video card fund, cool, I don't have to worry about paying for it. Or I can upgrade to the next echelon of video card, that type of thing. So either way, thank you to everyone who donates to us. It sincerely means so much, and I think we're all still flabbergasted.
You will get pasted on the tower in one way or another.
Yes, there will be a tribute to you forever on my tower and on my heart. So, wow, what a face. What a fuck you face from Robin on that one when I was trying to have a sincere moment. So if you have a homegrown horror you would like to send us, please email storytime@scarish.com. Go to the aforementioned social medias and you can reach out to us that way. Or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us and send it that way. Robin, if folks wanted to donate financially, how can they do so?
If you go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, those are monthly donations. We have a whole bunch of tiers starting at $8. We are trying to be more active, give you guys more content. It's very difficult, and we're well aware that you guys want more. We're trying. And tonight we are posting a video, an exclusive Storytime video that we recorded with all the people that came, well, not all, but a lot of the people that came with us to the San Jose meetup. And that's going to be Patreon only content. So if you want to see that, you got to join Patreon, minimum of $1, and you get a lot of extra stuff if you join as well. So there's an exclusive discount code for the summer products that I have up that is exclusive to Patreons for the summer. So
just to clarify too, we do have a Winchester Mystery House video that recaps like our entire time there that's going to be posted on YouTube for everyone to watch. The impromptu story time that we realized we're about to have, we're like, this is perfect for Patreon exclusive content. So for everyone that's like, I really want to see what happened at Winchester, you get to see almost absolutely everything. The only thing you don't get to see if you're not a patron is basically what happened after we all went out to eat together afterwards, when we were just like sitting around in San Jose and someone's like, I got a story for you. Someone else is like, I got a story for you too. And then the third person's like, I have a story too. I was like, fire that fucking camera up. We're about to have a story time. It was very cool. It was an amazing moment. And that's going to be Patreon exclusive. So you didn't miss a whole bunch, but it's definitely something that's fun.
yeah, so if you want to do that, patreon.com/scarishpodcast. All your support really helps us out. And the more patrons we have, the closer we get to going to the Stanley Hotel.
150 patrons is the goal for that one.
Yep. And there's ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations, and all those donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup. We do have to change the goals a bit since we've gotten a bunch of new equipment now and stuff like that. And we'll probably we should just post the computer parts.
Yeah, I think we're going to do
there.
computer parts at ko-fi.com.
Yeah, so we'll do all those updates and things like that. If you guys want to hop on there, I'll probably set up some reward goals on there as well. Like you'll get something if you donate this much. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But go there and check it out. And that's
about it.
Yeah.
That's everything we got. So thank you so much for everyone who sent us a story, everyone who's joined us, everyone who listens, everyone who rates and reviews. We appreciate every single one of you. We legitimately do. We couldn't do it without you, because a lot of times, like we mentioned earlier, life gets kind of busy, life gets in the way, and
is this going to break out in a song?
It's a driving force to keep us coming back, to make sure that we have a product for you and content for you to listen to, because we get told so much that you folks enjoy it. So we're going to try and be here for as long as we possibly can. So thank you one more time, and that's just about everything we got. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.